Good morning, St. John's. I'm Jeanne Nightingale, and this is my time to share a membership moment with you. I come to St. John's as a lifelong Unitarian, spent 72 of my years hanging out with UUs. It's not without a lot of religious exploration on the way. So in these 5 minutes, I would like to share a little of my path to St. John's. So first church, I started about 9 years old and was an active Unitarian teen then, but at 14 we moved to England. My father was transferred to Newcastle, and my sister and I went to the Newcastle upon Tyne Church High School, High Church. We were on our knees in prayer every morning, and we went to Bible classes every day. But we did find time in the quiet of the cloakroom at recess to try to convert our classmates to Unitarians. We continued to get sermons from Reverend O'Brien at First Unitarian Church, stayed in touch through college. But I married a Lutheran, very strict Missouri Synod background. And he was kind of interested in Unitarianism, so I found him a convert. But it was after we had our first child, he reverted to his family tradition of Lutheran traditions and going to church as a Lutheran, and he wanted to raise all our 5 children as Lutherans. I agreed. I was kind of interested in his faith, and just as long as I could have my children after Sunday school so we could discuss the meaning of their lessons. Like, for instance, Mary and Martha, which one do you favor? Do you think you have to choose between ministering to the body or to the spirit? Is that a dilemma? Those are the kind of conversations we had. So we lived 25 years in Philadelphia, and during that time went to France and Germany. I started studying medieval French literature of the 12th century, and finally got a degree, a graduate degree in French literature from the 12th century. This was the time of King Arthur and the quest of the Holy Grail. So I was interested in this literature, and I wanted to understand really what nurtured this imagination. So this led me to deep into studying of the Holy Fathers, all the writings of the monastics, the mystics, the scholars, the mythographers. 12th century was an interesting time. It's kind of a cultural renaissance, and there was a period of great conflict. It was the Crusades. There's also a period of collaboration. Jews, Muslims, Christians came together to unpuzzle their scriptural traditions. If they could understand God's truth was one, but it was disseminated into many traditions. So if we could come together, maybe we could unpuzzle the mind of God. So I found the same themes of conflict and quest in the Arthurian romances, and I spent about half my life trying to work this out, and gave a lot of academic papers on trying to persuade scholars of the encoded references, kind of like intertextual hyperlinks between biblical commentary and romance fiction. I spent a lot of time in the Bibliothèque Nationale. Kind of lived the experience of a monk, kind of cloistered, and had visions, had a crazy time. But I lived a cloistered life. I even went, this was after I got divorced from my first husband, I went to take communion in the local parish there in the 5th arrondissement. I lived in the 12th century for a while. So flash forward to the 20th century and back to Cincinnati, coming full circle, remarried and redivorced. Had more religious exploration, became an engaged Buddhist for a while, went on a couple of religious missions, twice to the Congo and 3 times to Cuba. One was evangelical in nature, and the other was a Unitarian to support the UUs in Cuba. But both were holistic. Nurturing both minds and bodies. I felt more of a Marian Marthic experience again. So both in the Congo and the Cuba, and later in Transylvania, I discovered amazing power of community as people struggled to revive from the experience of colonization. These two missions were both agriculture and nature, to enrich the soil with organics. Was depleted from chemical fertilizers, but then withdrawn when the colonizers left. So I think we have many lessons to learn from these resilient peoples as we move into the uncertain future of climate change. The Mary and Martha dilemma, I think, just to sum up, is at the heart of our 7th UU principle. As Reverend Gilmore has said, this 7th principle about the interdependent web may be our Unitarian way of fully embracing something greater than ourselves. Call it the spirit of life, ground of all being, the oneness of all existence, power of community. It can help us develop that connection that we so desperately need in our culture, to which we can dedicate our lives. So now at St. John's, with a little shove from Mira Rodwin, I've become dedicated to nurturing Green Sanctuary and that 7th UU principle at St. John's. And this is what I think makes St. John's my spiritual home. It's become so central to my life that I invited my friend and life partner from Toronto, Jim Hilborn, who hails from the Church of Canada, to join St. John's. Like me, he finds this congregation to be a warm, loving, and nurturing community. So thank you, St. John's.